Hello everyone, what TV shows have you been watching recently? Are you watching something new as it's airing? Are you revisiting an old favorite? I always have the standards that I watch pretty regularly. I watch a lot of Star Trek. Most nights, honestly, before bed, I usually will watch some sort of sitcom or one of my favorite shows from the 60s, something that's very just light-hearted and fun and puts me in a good mood before going to sleep. That is one of those things that I've found over the years that actually helps me sleep better, is watching something like that, something like Bewitched, or throwing on something like MASH, or even like something like Home Improvement, something that's just sort of a fun time. But I also like to add a rewatch cycle of a lot of favorite older shows to kind of get back to them every few years. Sometimes it's a decade or more, depending on what the show is. But I started, if you follow me, I talk about this more on my community page. I kind of post what I'm watching and talk to people on there. I started at the end of last year, somewhere around Christmas time. I don't remember when exactly, maybe more Thanksgiving, but somewhere around the end of last year, I started a rewatch of the entire Stargate franchise, starting with I watched the movie on Laserdisc, and then moved on to SG1, and I am now on season 8 of SG1, and correspondingly season 1 of Stargate Atlantis. And normally at this point I would be much further in a review of that kind of stuff, but I took a little bit of a break and started a rewatch of The X-Files partway through the year. So I'm kind of adding that into the mix. I'm actually spreading myself a little more thinly than I typically do. A lot of times I get through these rewatches more quickly as I focus on maybe just one show to focus my rewatch on, and then the standard stuff that I watch all the time. But this year, I don't know. I've been less focused, a little more for the long, this long haul show like Stargate. Maybe that's part of it because there's so much of it that I started wanting to add some things to it. So I'm also on season 6 of The X-Files. Watched the movie the other night. So I'm out of the Canadian era now to the California era when the show moved. From this point on, season 6 is still really good, but as a whole, the movie is always for me kind of the cutoff of where the X-Files that I really, really love versus the X-Files that I just like. So I am there with the X-Files. And as I said, it's been a little more scattered this year than usual because we just happened to randomly get an amazing deal. I did unboxings of them because it's beautiful box sets on the bulk of Xena on VHS. And I love that show, and I haven't done a true rewatch of that in years, of just kind of random episodes here and there. I don't think it's been I don't think I've done a full rewatch of Xena even since we've been married, so that's over 12 years since I've done a full rewatch from the beginning of the whole thing. So I started, might as well, I got those VHS sets, so I just finished this morning as I was going through my emails and doing other things like that, finished the last tape in season 1 of Xena on VHS, so that is still in the rotation. The one area where I've weirdly been a little more focused because, hey, you know what? I'm adding shows to this rewatch cycle over the course of the year, and again, I watch something comforting, sitcoms, that kind of stuff before bed. Maybe I'll do a rewatch of a sitcom that I haven't rewatched ever. I've been doing All in the Family, and I am on season 6 of that as well, just like the X-Files. So it'll be wrapping a lot of those up, I think, before the end of the year, and at some point down the line, before long, probably spread myself even more thin. I just got this, if you watched the video, a huge box set, the entirety of Dr. Quinn, and it's another show that I've never done a full, from the beginning, rewatch of, not since it originally aired. It's always been, we never had the full set, just a handful of seasons, and rewatched episodes from that over the last few years. So I'll probably add that to the rotation. So that's kind of what I've been doing on my own. And then Amanda and I like to watch stuff together. But lately it's been more movies. We haven't been doing as much TV watching. We did a bunch of series together like a year or two ago, and we even did videos about them, wrapping up some shows like Mutant X and Cleopatra 2525, a couple of shows that we both really enjoyed. And we started doing a rewatch of Star Trek, the entire franchise from the beginning. So obviously it's going to be like a multi-year thing, just when we can sit together and watch an episode or two. That might be fun, especially because Amanda's never done that. I don't think she's ever even done a full rewatch of any individual series from the beginning, and thought that might be a fun thing. And I know there are some episodes that she's never seen. I know she's not seen all of Deep Space Nine or Enterprise ever, and I know she's not rewatched a lot of those shows. So I thought that would be kind of a fun thing to do, and that came about especially because we started at the Star Trek channel. That kind of brought that topic to mind. And I've rewatched Star Trek shows, obviously, like individually from the very beginning, the whole way through, but I've never done, because it's so huge, a franchise rewatch. I've rewatched, I'll watch TOS and watch the whole thing over the course of, however many months or whatever, but I've never done start the first episode of TOS and go the whole way through. Never done that before, so this is fun for both of us. And by doing that, I get to rewatch a lot of episodes and see some stories I haven't seen in a long time, because if I'm not doing, like all these shows, if I'm not doing and sitting and watching the whole thing, which, how often can you do that? A lot of these I've never done before. It's been 10 years or something like that, because that's a lot of time. When I go and pick episodes, it tends to be a lot of the same episodes, of course, and you just kind of want to watch an episode or two. You pick one or two favorites. So some of the episodes I haven't seen in a long time. That's a lot of fun. But yeah, I thought I'd go on and talk about that. I'd love to hear what you are watching. Partially because this has been, I don't know what I'm doing here, over the course of this year, since the end of last year, I've diverged more than I normally would, and I've added so many things to the watch list. I actually have a little thing on my phone, and those little notepad things showing like what episode I'm on in each series, and just kind of keeping track of that. It's a little more spread out this year, but I am enjoying it, even though it means it's going to take a lot longer to finish any of these. I'm enjoying the variety a little bit more. So always a lot of fun, and I thought it'd be a fun thing to talk about, as I know the majority of my audience is some form of TV or movie collector. So thanks for stopping by. Remember to subscribe if you like this kind of stuff, or thrift store finds that I do. And if you haven't looked already, I do have a channel, Trek a Day, which I started just a few months ago, which talks about Star Trek literally every single day.